A Pokémon Nuzlocke. Considered to be one of the most popular challenges to add to your own Pokémon adventure, a Nuzlocke adds a few key rules to your playthrough to add some difficulty to the relatively easy games. 1. You can only catch the first Pokémon you encounter on each route. 2. If a Pokémon faints, it's considered dead and can no longer be used. I've never actually completed a Nuzlocke. I've started plenty, but I've never been able to finish one. Until today. And by today, I mean a few weeks ago when I beat the game. It's actually taking a while to edit this video. However, I've always wanted to actually complete one. So why not try it now? Now, it's an important distinction to bring up that this is a Hardcore Nuzlocke. A Hardcore Nuzlocke is the same idea as a regular Nuzlocke, but with 3 extra rules. 1. No items in battle, held items are allowed. 2. Set mode must be on, meaning that when I KO a Pokemon, I cannot switch out without wasting my turn. Lastly, I cannot level up my Pokemon past the next gym leader's ace, meaning I can't level grind and sweep every gym. I also play with Dupe's Claws, a rule that makes it so I cannot get repeat encounters, meaning I don't have to have 4 Purloins and 6 Rattatas. I chose Pokemon White 2 due to the fact that Generation 5 is my personal favorite and it has a large amount of choices for encounters. But what I didn't account for was that among the Nuzlocking community, Pokemon Black and White 2 are considered some of the hardest games to Nuzlocke. So if you came here for an easy Nuzlocke where I lose no Pokemon, you're going to be sorely mistaken. This is part 1 of a 2-part special documenting my first Nuzlocke. I'll explain at the end why this is split into 2 parts, but until then, enjoy the video. And without further ado, let's start this adventure. I start my journey by naming myself Tyler and naming my rival Frank. I don't even know a Frank. After being woken up by our mother, we go outside to meet Frank and his sister, and can I just say they look nothing alike? What's really going on here, Frank? Where's your dad? Where's my dad? Anyways, I meet up with Bianca, the professor's assistant, and pick my starter. I thought about it for a bit, as all 3 starters aren't bad choices. Snivy has good special and speed, Tepig has great attack, and Oshawott is fairly balanced. I ended up deciding on Oshawott since water types will be scarce during the early game. I name him Jonathan, and he has a calm nature, which lowers attack in favor of special defense, which isn't good, but also isn't the worst possible option. By the way, I have a naming theme for this video, so if you figured it out, comment down below your guess. I crush Frank and head to Route 19 where I catch a Patrat, who I nicknamed Poco. He has a gentle nature, which is a totally great nature for an already frail and pretty garbage Pokemon. After meeting up with the ex-champion of the region and watching him attempt to escape from his personal purgatory, I head to Route 20 where I hope to catch a Sawaddle, who absolutely trivializes the first gym. Instead, I get something even better. Pidove. Yay. I catch him and nickname him Greyfly. His impish nature, though, somehow makes this awful bird Pokemon even worse. After crushing my rival and this strange Team Aqua wannabe, I catch a Mareep, who's actually an awesome encounter. I mean, it was either this or an Azurill. Mareep, who I nicknamed Dire, has a gentle nature as well. With this encounter, though, I have no option but to train up and attempt the first real challenge of the run, Gym Leader Charon. Charon, the normal type specialist, is actually a pretty difficult first gym leader, as both his Pokemon have Work Up, a move that boosts the user's attack and special attack by 1 stage. Him setting these up would be extremely dangerous for all of my team members. But I have a plan. I start the battle and I lead Dire, while Charon leads Patrat. I move first and use Thunder Wave, a move that paralyzes the opponent. This status condition not only slows down the opponent, but also has a chance to fully paralyze, which means the victim cannot move for this turn. Patrat gets lucky and gets off a Work Up. However, it doesn't even matter, as Dire gets a critical hit Thunder Shock, which one-shots the Patrat. Out comes Charon's ace, Lillipup, and I go for Thunder Wave again, paralyzing the Lillipup. Lillipup is unaffected, and gets off another Work Up. I hit a Thunder Shock, and it does about a third, while Lillipup gets off another Work Up. Things are looking scary, but as I hit another Thunder Shock, Lillipup is paralyzed. This happens again, but I just barely missed the kill, meaning Charon heals his dog. Then Lillipup is able to get a hit off, and he does about half of Dire's HP in a single hit. Although this scared me half to death, luckily I'm faster, so I can finish off the Lillipup and finish off the first gym. Afterwards, Greyfly gets his one and only moment in the spotlight as he cleans up this hiker's Riolu. We make it to Verbank City not long after, and after sitting through a long intervention with gym leader Roxy and her dad, we beeline to the nearby Verbank complex. This area is separated into 2 separate parts, meaning I can get 2 encounters here, which will be my only 2 encounters before the next gym. Now, there's one Pokemon here I'm begging for, and that's Magnemite. Not only is Magnemite my favorite Pokemon of all time, but it also is an absolutely fantastic Pokemon for this game, as it bodies 4 of the gyms, Roxy, Berg, Skyla, and Marlin, and would make my life so much easier. Magnemite is available in both parts of the complex, but I could encounter Elekid in both, and a Growlithe inside of the complex. So I run around on the outside and hold a bated breath as my encounter appears. And it's Magnemite. I catch my beautiful ungendered child and name him Speedwagon. They have a hardy nature, which means no stat is better or worse. And the sad part is that is one of the best natures I've gotten so far. Though Magnet Pull over Sturdy is not the best. Inside the complex, I bully the workers and encounter a Growlithe, who unfortunately has the Flash Fire ability over the infinitively superior Intimidate ability. He also has a modest nature, which is just the best thing possible. After training my team up a bit and evolving Jonathan into Duat and Dyer into Flaffy, I take on the Poison Gym Leader Roxy. Roxy leads with Coughing while I lead with Speedwagon. As mentioned before, Speedwagon absolutely walls everything Roxy has to throw at us, due to the Steel typing, which was super busted before Generation 6. Besides, since Steel is immune to poison, this gym really isn't anything to sweat about. I easily destroy Roxy's Coughing and Whirlipede with ease, giving us a second single Pokemon Sweep Gym and an easy second gym badge. I chase Roxy's dad down to Pokestar's studio, and I'll save you the boredom of sitting through this mid-game tutorial and simply say that we got Pop Roxy to give up on all of his dreams and ferry us over to Castelia City. Before picking up any encounters, I grab a bunch of important items like the EXP Share, Charcoal, Mystic Water, Miracle Seed, and Leftovers. I then head over to Route 4 and find a Sandile, who has a naughty nature, which boosts attack, but at the expense of special defense, which is extremely good. I call him Strazo, and I'm really excited to use him, as I've never actually gotten to use a Sandile before. I sure hope I get to use him, as he would make the usually difficult 4th gym a breeze. I sure hope. I then rappel my way through the sewers, yes, I went into the sewers, and make it to Relic Passage, which has a lot of encounters, most of which are pretty bad. I mean, why would you voluntarily pick up Onix or Woobat? However, this passage has a really good encounter in Drillbur, who evolves into Excadrill, which is undoubtedly one of the best encounters for this run, and one of the best Pokemon introduced in this gen. I really want a Drillbur, so I use a trick called Repelling. How Repelling works is just using the Repel mechanics. It's actually not nearly as complicated as it sounds. You see, a Repel halts any Pokemon lower than your party lead's level from encountering you, so as long as one of my Pokemon is a higher level than the rest of the area's levels, I can avoid all encounters in order to ensure that I catch a Drillbur who spawns in these weird dust patches that occasionally spawn. But I read the highest level of the area wrong, meaning the Repel doesn't work and I trip on a random Pokemon. While you may not be able to hear it, I audibly yell NO! As the idea of having to waste an encounter on an Onix or Woobat is more pain than actually losing an encounter. I grit my teeth in fear, but fate decided that I wouldn't suffer just yet, and my encounter ended up being Roggenrola, who is one of my favorite Pokemon from this region. I catch this little heart attack, and he shall now be known as Kakyoin. He also has an adamant nature, which boosts attack and lowers special attack, which is really good compared to some of my other choices. I run up to Castelia Park, where I find a Rattata. Yay. I nickname him Bug Eaten, and with a lonely nature, he's actually not too bad. Except that, again, I got the lesser ability, having Runaway instead of the excellent Guts ability, which boosts the attack stat of a Pokemon if they have a status condition. Runaway simply means that I can run away from any wild battle. Hey, at least I can have a 2-rat team. However, while trying to find my Castelia Sewers encounter, I get into a fight with this lowly Rattata. I was leading Poco, and this filthy little rat gets Poco down low, to the point in which another hit would kill him off. I go to switch, but of course the Rattata has Pursuit, a move that does double damage if the opponent tries to switch out, and Poco gets killed in the line of fire. My first death. This stings a lot. While Poco wasn't my favorite member of the team, he hit like a truck, and I'd grown to love the little rat. Plus, now my 2-rat dream team has been crushed. And Bug Eaten doesn't even know what happened to his brother. Rest in peace, Poco. It's a shame it's a rat-kill-rat world out there. Anyways, after drying my tears, I eventually find a Zubat, who I'd named Dio. Dio has a timid nature, which boosts speed but lowers attack, which is... It's a double-edged sword, meaning that Crobat, who is naturally a speed demon, is much faster, but hits a lot weaker, so... yeah, that's great. But with this encounter, I can train everyone up and finally face the 3rd gym leader against Bug Specialist Berg. Now, Berg can actually be a serious threat. If this was Pokemon Black and White, Berg got heavily nerfed in this game due to him losing his Whirlipede and replacing it with a Swadloon. In fact, the only Pokemon on his team that even slightly worries me is Dwebble, as its Rock Throw is super effective against both fire and flying, which is how I plan on beating the rest of Berg's team. But, as with almost every battle, I have a plan. I lead Jonathan and Berg leads Swadloon. crud. I thought Berg was leading with Dwebble, but now Jonathan's at risk to a super effective critical hit. I quickly swap to Dio, who gets hit with a dangerous, highly lethal string shot. A single wing attack takes out the Swadloon next turn, and then comes in the previously expected Dwebble, who threatens Dio with a super effective smackdown. So I swap back into Jonathan, who's holding a Mystic Water, which boosts the power of water-type moves. Dwebble sets up a Rock Polish, and then hits a smackdown on Jonathan that barely does a fifth. Razor Shell takes Dwebble down to the low red, so next turn Berg uses a Hyper Potion, healing Dwebble to full. This sucks because now I have to worry about Dwebble's sturdy ability, making it so I can't one-shot the Dwebble. I use Razor Shell again, taking Dwebble back down to the red. Dwebble lands another smackdown, but I'm able to clean up the Dwebble by the end of the turn, drawing in Berg's ace, Levani, who Jonathan can't deal with. So I switch into Dio, who 4 times resists Levani, as shown by the pitiful 6 damage Levani's signature Razor Leaf does on the switch in. And with a 4 times super effective wing attack on the next turn, the battle is won. I wasn't really worried about Berg. What I should have been worried about was the next battle. On Route 4, I have a battle with our rival, Polrez, a scientist who specializes in steel types. Now, as I mentioned earlier, steel is really good in this game. In fact, the only Pokemon on my team that is super effective against steel is Danny. But Danny's best move, thanks to his minus attack nature, is Ember, which sucks. Plus, Polrez has a Magnemite who can paralyze my entire team. This is gonna be rough. I start the battle, and I lead Danny against his Magnemite. My first Ember takes Magnemite down to the very low red, but it retaliates with a Thunder Wave. Great. Now I can miss every single turn. Next turn, Polrez heals his Magnemite, and I get paralyzed. Magnemite uses Spark, which does about a fourth, and Danny lands an Ember, taking the Magnemite back down to red. Spark hits again, and Danny breaks through the paralysis to hit a Flame Wheel, which knocks out the Floating Nuisance, which levels Danny up to level 21, where he learns Fire Fang in place of Flame Wheel. Still not great because it's a physical attack, but I have bigger fish to fry, most notably the incoming Clink, who I thought would be no problem, but because I'm paralyzed, I can't risk Danny dying, so I switch into Strazo, completely forgetting that ground is weak to steel. Clink uses Gear Grind, which hits twice, the first one doing about a third, so I should be able to live it. Unless the second one crits, which it does. This was pretty dumb of me, and the game punished me for it. Which hurts so much more, because I was actually excited to use Sandile. But now I have to bury him. And what's even worse is that I have to still take out the Clink. I debate my options, but finally decide that my best option is to risk Danny's life to get a hit. Clink charges, raising his special defense, and I go for Fire Fang, which doesn't kill, meaning I have to survive another turn. So I swap into Speedwagon, hoping he can take a hit from the surprisingly evil set of gears. Clink charges again, but a Sonic Boom from Speedwagon kills the Sandile Slayer. I can't believe Polrez was the most difficult battle so far, and it cost me another great encounter. Strazo's death has another bad factor to it. Strazo was my main counter to Elisa, the electric-type gym leader, who is considered a run killer by many. Without him, my options for beating her are relatively low. However, all I can do is keep moving forward and keeping my lost companions in my heart. Plus, I have some more encounters to nab. In the Desert Resort, I found a Dwebble of my own, who I nicknamed Coco Jumbo. He's a jolly nature, which kinda sucks, but it could be worse. Well, he's not useful now, I'm sure he'll be important later. In Relic Castle, I found a Sandshrew, which is a really good encounter. She's not a bad replacement for Strazo. I call her Arena, and her sassy nature isn't the best, but more special defense is always welcome. While out here, I grab the Rock Tomb TM, and I also evolve Arena into Sandslash and Kakyoin into Boldore. Before I head too far along, I actually return back to Route 19, which may seem strange, but I have a really good reason for it. You see, Elisa is scary, more scary than I'd like to admit, and much scarier than I'd like to challenge right now. And Arena is my only real encounter to anything Elisa throws at me, so I want to make sure she can handle it. So I EV train. Now, for anyone who's outside of the deep Pokemon fandom, you may be scratching your head at what this is. EV train? What's that? Believe me, it's something I didn't know much about either, but it's basically a way to make your Pokemon better. How it works is that every Pokemon is delegated with a statistic called an effort value. This effort value is representative of one of the 6 stats a Pokemon can have: HP, attack, defense, special defense, and speed. So when a partner Pokemon knocks out a wild Pokemon, it gains that wild Pokemon's effort value, which stack on the party Pokemon, allowing a Pokemon to raise its stat gain for every evolution. For example, on Route 19, I can only encounter Patrats and Purloins. Patrats give 1 attack EV, and Purloins give 1 speed EV. So if I knock out every Pokemon I encounter, my attack and speed stat will grow much more per each level. So with that out of the way, let's continue. I make it to Nimbasa City, and I can grab a few more encounters before I have to take on Elisa. On Route 16, I find Minchino, who has the impish nature, a fine ability for a fine Pokemon. I name her Suzy Q, and she'll have to sit in the box for now. In the Losthorn Forest, I catch Swadloon, who would have been a better encounter on Route 20. Nevertheless, I name him Devo, and his brave nature is surprisingly good. I then head ahead to Route 5, but before I can nab my encounter, Bianca appears and tells me all about hidden grottos, in addition to Pokemon Black and White 2 that can nab you some rare items in Pokemon. I debated on it, but ultimately decided that I would allow 2 hidden grotto encounters for my run. But this one doesn't count, since I already have a Minchino. Sucks to be you, loser. After this wonderful learning experience, I run around in the tall grass and find Solosis. I love Solosis so much, and is one of the reasons I picked White too, and getting it as my encounter rocks. I call him Vanilla Ice, and he would be a valuable member of any team, if it wasn't for his adamant nature, which is the worst possible nature. Dang it. But like with most of these gyms, I've run out of things to do, and I'm out of stalling time, so now I have to challenge Elisa, who honestly scares me. Electric is a tough type to work against, and Elisa's team is honestly very well balanced and set up to destroy any idiot who tries to take her down. Today, I'm that idiot. In preparation for this gym, I train up a team of 6, including Bug Eaton and Coco Jumbo. Speaking of, Bug Eaton evolves into Eradicate, who, with a plus attack nature, is actually a monster on the battlefield. In fact, every gym trainer in the gym gets squashed by Bug Eaton, but he can't take on Elisa alone, especially not with the runaway ability. That's Arena's job. Just in case of emergency, I do level my entire team up to the level cap of 30, which allows Speedwagon to evolve into Magneton. I also use a Firestone I found in the Desert Resort to evolve Danny into Arcanine. Alright, if I lose to anyone, it's going to be Elisa. Let's go. Now, there's something important about Arena, something that makes this gym so much more easy for all of my team, and that's her typing, Ground. You see, what makes Elisa so annoying is her signature move, Volt Switch. What Volt Switch does is that it attacks the opponent with an electric attack, but then also swaps out the Pokemon that uses it. This is really annoying, especially on Elisa's team where she has Namolga, an electric flying type who has an immunity to ground, which the rest of her team is weak to. So, as you can probably guess, this makes Elisa a rather difficult opponent to plan around. This, though, does not apply to Arena, as electric cannot hit ground, meaning that when Elisa tries to use Volt Switch, it won't work, meaning that she can't use her signature move and taking away one of the many advantages Elisa had. This doesn't make this gym a walk in the park, though. I lead Arena, and Elisa leads Emolga. Emolga is faster thanks to my minus speed nature and goes for Pursuit. God. Pursuit. I'm having flashbacks. Is this how my grandpa felt? However, this time I have no intentions of swapping, and the move does around 1/10 of Arena's health. Arena responds with a Rock Tomb, see why I mentioned it earlier, and takes the Flying Rat down to early red. I also get the Speed Drop, and next turn Elisa heals while I go for another Rock Tomb, this time only getting into low yellow, but getting another Speed Drop. And on the final turn I outspeed the Emolga and knock it out. There's the problem child out of the way, now onto the filler. Flaffy comes out next and I have to be careful. Flaffy has a static ability, which means that physical attacks against the user have a chance to paralyze the opponent, which would be awful for Arena, especially going into Elisa's ace. So I avoid using Dig and go for Magnitude, getting a level 10 Magnitude. For anyone confused, Magnitude is a move that has different power levels that are randomly chosen, from 1 being the worst to 10 being the best. So, of course, the Flaffy falls in a single hit. Then comes Elisa's ace, Zebstrika, but I'm not worried about this one. Zebstrika doesn't have static, instead has Motor Drive, which is an absolutely terrible ability for the electric type gym, so I'm clear to go for a Dig. But Zebstrika goes first and goes for Pursuit, which barely does anything. So Arena gets to use Dig, and when the Dig collides, it OHKOs, giving us a single Pokemon sweep again, and rendering one of my biggest worries completely pointless. Nice try, Elisa, but you're gonna have to bring a real threat next time. I then walk down the runway by Elisa and her models, and I have to say, it's so nice to be cheered at, especially after all the worry this gym has given me. It's kinda cathartic in a weird sense. We then kick around with some pirates, and I'm reminded of what comes next. Clay. Clay is the 5th gym leader and specializes in ground. Now, this wouldn't be a huge problem, except for his ace, Excadrill. Excadrill. The evolution of Drillbur. The Pokemon that I said would be absolutely broken in this game. The encounter I never got. Yeah, Clay is gonna be tough. But before I can worry about Clay, I fight this strange, sad man named Charles, who claims to be a heartbreaker. Dude, I get it, but this isn't gonna bring her back, man. Anyways, I do still have encounters before Clay, so let's grab him. On the Driftvale drawbridge, I catch a Ducklet, who shall now be known henceforth as Ndul. Ndul has a neutral nature, and is going to be very helpful against Clay, even though Ducklet sucks. So much. Then, on Route 6, I encounter a Carablast, who poses a problem with our run. Carablast is a Pokemon that can only evolve through trait evolution, and, well, Carablast sucks. But her evolution, Escavalier, doesn't. So, just maybe, I've been playing this run on my very legitimate, not at all an emulator-specialized Nintendo DS, which allows trade evolutions without needing to trade. This certainly is allowed, right? I definitely didn't download the Universal Pokemon Randomizer for my emulator, change the rules so that trade evolutions are allowed, and catch a Shellmet to evolve Carablast, because that would be against Nintendo's best wishes. Totally! Anyways, I named Carablast Mariah, and she has an impish nature, which is really, really good. And then all of a sudden, she spontaneously evolves into Escavalier. Wow, how strange. Also, here's Mariah's stats. I forgot to grab them before she evolved. Next, I go up above Driftvale City to get my final encounter, but I'm tested by this rude fellow who is surprisingly nice, and apparently used to work with the pirates before they were pirates, and apparently were Knights of the Old Republic. Makes sense. Anyways, he only has 2 Pokemon, a Herdier and a Swoobat. Now, I'm sure you're asking yourself why I bring up this battle, as it seems rather trivial for my absolutely busted team. Well, let me tell ya, it's only included in this video to show the pure strength of Bug Eaton, as he is so powerful that even 2 workups can't stop him, since Hyper Fang is a 2-hit move, and since he's faster, he can just swap in on the first turn and hit a Hyper Fang on the next one, meaning that he can get the kill before Herdier can even get an attack off. Easy! Now, one more Hyper Fang should finish off the... You know what? I have nothing to say here. I really don't have anything I can add. The clip speaks for itself. Actually, you wanna know the funniest part? As this happened in real time, I was sitting there, and I said to myself, well, this thing's dead as long as Hyper Fang doesn't miss. I hate myself. For a reward of killing off one of my Pokemon as sacrifice, Rude gives me a Zorora. A what? For a reward for killing off one of my Pokemon as a sacrifice, Rude gives me a Zorora. Now, technically I can't nickname the Zorua because it was a gift from somebody, but I'm gonna include it anyways. His honorary name is... Manish Baby. There we go, good as new. As I prepare my team for Clay, I slowly realize how screwed I am. Remember how I said if I was gonna wipe to anybody, it would be Elisa? Yeah, well, Clay changes that perspective a lot. I only have 2 Pokemon who can really touch any of Clay's Pokemon super effectively. Jonathan, who's been sitting in the box ever since Berg, and Ndul, who just sucks. Honestly, Ducklet is garbage, and his evolution Swanna wouldn't even make things easier. I really just have to wing it on a prayer and basically hope that my team can handle anything that comes its way. Alright, Clay, let's do this. Clay leads Krokorok, and I lead Ndul. I do this because Krokorok is Clay's only Pokemon that doesn't have a Rock-type move, which is super effective against Ndul. It goes first and lands a Crunch, which does half. Meanwhile, my Bubble Beam takes the Krokorok down to what must be 1 HP, and it wasn't even a crit. I know Clay is gonna waste his healing item now, so I go for Roost, which heals Ndul. Then, next turn, Krokorok uses Torment, a move that makes it so that Ndul can't use the same move twice in a row. Since my Bubble Beam doesn't crit, I have an idea. I use Feather Dance, a move that lowers the opponent's attack stat by 2 phases, and slowly whittle down the Krokorok's attack, while also roosting to regain health. I do this so that, going into Sand Slash, I can be at the most health I can manage. Eventually, once I'm sure I can survive a hit, I knock the Krokorok out. But then Clay sends in his Excadrill, which was not supposed to happen. I panic, realizing that now I'm in serious trouble. Like, I might wipe right here, right now trouble. I try going for Feather Dance to make Excadrill hit a little lighter, but it outspeeds and kills Ndul swiftly. Sorry, Ducky, you really won't be missed. Now I'm really panicking, so I swap into Devo and go for Protect, dodging a Rock Slide. Next turn, Excadrill outspeeds and hits Devo for over half with a Rock Slide, as Devo gets off a String Shot, lowering the Excadrill's speed slightly. I then Protect again, but realize there's no way Devo outspeeds this beast of a Pokemon, and that I need a better option. Honestly, I should have just sacked Devo here, but instead I swap into Jonathan, and Excadrill, of course, gets a critical hit on the switch, taking Jonathan down into death range. Things are looking bleak, and with a heavy heart, I realize Jonathan is likely not getting out of this alive. So, with the Mystic Water clutched close to his heart, Jonathan uses Water Pulse. and it takes the Excadrill down to low red. Excadrill's berry activates, healing him up just into yellow, but Jonathan has done his duty, and I salute as he stands honorably and takes a slash, knowing that his sacrifice will not be in vain. And when my team is etched into the Hall of Fame in the future, he will be the 7th name etched into history. Arena comes in, and fueled by the rage of losing one of her greatest companions, she outspeeds the Excadrill, ignoring her minus speed nature, and kills the murderous mole where it stands. Clay's final Pokemon, another Sandslash, comes out, but this Sandslash does not feel the love nor pain that Arena has felt, as Arena pummels it into the ground, winning us the gym, and honoring the fallen. It is with a heavy heart that I accept the Quake badge, but I do accept it, not for myself, but for my Pokemon. For the ones that have fought effortlessly, for the ones who haven't gotten as much use but still cheer for our victory, and especially for the ones who have laid down their lives for our family to move on. Poco, Strazo, Bug Eaton, Jonathan, for all of you, I will lead us to victory. I will make you proud. I will honor your name. I promise you this. In duel, burn in hell. Hey guys, King Potassium here, and that's the end of part 1 of my first ever Hardcore Nuzlocke. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, as you've made it this far, why I made this 2 parts. Well, there's 2 reasons for it. 1, I asked my friends if I should do it, and they said yeah, so yeah, that's it for that reason. 2, I actually don't have enough space on my computer's hard drive to film all of this Nuzlocke and make it regular content. So I decided to make 2 videos and then make a supercut to have all of it in one place. I hope you guys understand, and I hope you enjoyed this first part. I know I did. If you did, it would mean a lot to me if you guys liked the video and subscribed. In addition, if you figured out my naming scheme, there's no way you haven't, let me know in the comments below. Anyways, that's all for me. Until part 2, where I inevitably lose more Pokemon in stupid ways. Thank you guys, and see you next time.